to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Join me in the pledge to the state flag. Honor the I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. While you remain standing, this chamber in this city lost a very, very close friend. He was the one who would always be here to do the invocation. I'm going to ask for a moment of silence for Pastor John Phillips. Thank you very much.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm honored to have been invited to deliver the invocation this morning, but I know that I'll never be able to fill the shoes of Pastor John Phillips. Dear Heavenly Father, you told us in the book of Jeremiah, "For I know the plan I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful city of Brownsville. We thank you for its leadership, our mayor, our city commission, and all our leaders throughout the city, in our businesses, in our field of education. We thank you for the great camaraderie we have with our community neighbors who so selflessly volunteer their time though we are not and have not been in exile, as for whom this scripture was written, but we have been through some very, very difficult times. And one thing we can say for our wonderful city of Brownsville is that you've guided us with unity, you've given us hope, and you've allowed us to prosper. We ask that you continue to guide all members, all persons responsible for keeping that hope alive, for keeping that flame lit, that we can continue to prosper as we move forward through this pandemic, and we can expect difficult times. But we know that Brownsville, as has shown already, can be resilient. We ask that you continue to guide our city leaders, leaders in every level, leaders in our education field and our businesses, that they can continue to collaborate and bring in further businesses so that Brownsville can continue to grow as we have done. And though many people have seen the difficulties and experienced the hardships that this pandemic has brought, we remain united, and we thank you for that. We ask your blessings upon everybody here. This meal we're about to share, that it may always nourish our body, and that we may always turn to you to nourish our soul. Lastly, most loving and gracious Father, we ask that you please protect all our troops, for everybody here knows or is related to somebody who's representing Brownsville across the world in our armed forces. We ask that you keep them safe, that you bring them back home, and that if it is in their will, that they bring that experience back to Brownsville, that leadership back to Brownsville, as we continue to grow. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Everyone, please be seated. Thank you. Once again, I ask that you all please help me thank the Brownsville Police Department Honor Guard, Mr. Larry Joko, Ana Laura Chavez, Luis Garcia, and Sergeant David De Leon for their participation in today's program. Thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you. It is with great pleasure to welcome and thank all of you for your active participation and support in this important and special event as we proudly host the 2022 Crossroads Edition State of the City Address by Mayor Trey Mendes. In his third State of the City Address, Mayor Mendes will share how the City of Brownsville has accomplished growth, innovation, and built a stronger community. Today, we have the responsibility to inform you of important matters that affect and impact our community, as well as providing a networking platform to introduce you to our visionary, fierce, and driven commission and city leadership. I encourage you to take the time after our event to get to know our leadership and introduce your business, because your business is our business. I ask that you take the opportunity to respectfully engage and address Mayor Trey Mendes of any matters that concern you, as we have scheduled a Q&A session at the end of the program. I'm also proud to inform you that thanks to your investment, loyalty, and commitment in supporting your chamber, a member-driven business organization which is 100% debt-free, we are celebrating 85 years of service. Thank you. 85 years strong, 8 decades of significant milestones built upon the hard work and successes of past leadership that remain strong advocates of the work of the Chamber in our community. A special recognition to our past predecessors for paving the way and building a strong foundation. I would be remiss if I did not take advantage of this opportunity and platform to update everyone of the great accomplishments your Chamber has had in the past 2 years, specifically one that brings a great honor and recognition to not just the Chamber, but to our beloved and wonderful City of Brownsville, our county, and state. We, your chamber, are one of 6 chambers in the nation, the only one in the great state of Texas to be chosen out of 7,000 chambers in our country to host a National Civics Bee competition. The Brownsville Civics Bee is one of 6 inaugural National Civics Bee competitions promoted by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation. At least 100 local middle school students were expected to participate in a first-round essay competition. I'm very proud and excited to report that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation has notified us that our community is leading the nation in the most student submissions. We received a total of 421 essays of 100 essays expected. Ladies and gentlemen, the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce is the #1 chamber in the nation. Judges have selected the top 10 students' essays to go to the final round, which is a live quiz event testing civics knowledge. This not only showcases the dedication of our students, our educators, and judges to strengthen our community, but it also showcases how the city of Brownsville is a force to be reckoned with on a national level. I would like to publicly thank City Manager Noel Bernal for becoming a true advocate for our community. He has taken the time to join us in efforts in meetings with community partners and introducing them to this unique and great opportunity for our youth. And in my own words, Noel, thank you for being a true ambassador of your community. We really appreciate you, sir. I ask for your help as we would like to make this event the best in the nation. Support our young leaders and the future of our workforce by joining us here on May 11th for the live competition from 6 to 8:30 p.m. This is a free event and we welcome all of our community. We have people from headquarters in Washington, D.C. They've chosen the city of Brownsville to come and videotape this kickoff pilot program. They're bringing a whole crew because they're proud of the work done by the people of Brownsville. We invite you and humbly ask for your participation and support. Our goal is to have 400 people, as we have close to today, to make this a grand celebration at a national level. Let's change the perception of Brownsville, Texas in the United States. You and us have that responsibility as community leaders. I also would like to take the time to thank our generous sponsors. And I was talking to our mayor a little short while ago, right before we started, and we were talking about the success of today's event. I am very humble to be up here and, of course, represent the chamber and our board and our team, but this does not happen alone. I am very grateful for the opportunity to have had to get to meet the communications department at a whole different level. We've come together, we've become more creative, we've become better in each way, and we're so passionate about today's event. We hope that you enjoy everything today. There's great food, there's beautiful arrangements. What makes the difference of a big event and a successful event is you. We ask for your feedback. Let us know how we can better. Our goal here today is to continue to only grow and grow and grow, and it's only done through your feedback and, of course, your constructive criticism. So I welcome you to contact the city and the chamber for any feedback that you have. And today our partners are Chairman Partner, the City of Brownsville. Leading partners, Brownsville Public Utilities Board, DHR Health Brownsville, the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation, Valley Baptist Medical Center, Valley Regional Medical Center. Sustaining partners, Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, Brownsville Navigation District, Port of Brownsville, HEB, International Bank of Commerce, Spa Glass Contractors, Steel Coast Company, LLC. Supporting partners, Burden, Macomber, and Longoria, LLP, Cameron County Regional Mobility Authority, Half Associates, Loera Customs Brokerage, Inc., Real Bank, Terracon Consultants, Inc., Texas Gas Service, the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, VTX1 Companies. And contributing partners for today's program are CK Technologies, Exceptional Healthcare, Inc., Falcon Bank, Hanson Professional Services, Inc., Texas National Bank, Texas Regional Bank, and United Healthcare Medical Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, help me thank them for today's contributions. Aside from thanking our loyal sponsors, this is one of my favorite parts of the program, and I joke about it. But this is where my cell phone starts to ring or vibrate with messages updating me that I've accidentally, of course, failed to acknowledge some of our honorable elected officials and community leaders. I hope that today I get better. I'm trying, I really am. But I do ask you to keep me posted if I don't. And I think the majority of everyone here may have my cell phone, so you're welcome to text me. Unfortunately, I just noticed I forgot my phone. So if you text me, I won't see it. It's probably on the other end right now, but I'll get it. So all joking aside, it's always a great honor to thank and acknowledge the extraordinary assemblage of community leaders and elected officials present. All proud and humble public servants representing various levels of federal, state, city, and county officials. Aside from recognizing their participation today, it is of utmost importance to thank all present for dedicating your careers, in many cases, lives, to doing just that, serving the public. Thank you for your commitment and ability to be involved in useful work and bearing appropriate responsibilities, and for the sense of welfare and true needs of our people. Thank you for your keen thirst for justice and rightness, and the ability to work together in harmony when we all know at times there's honest disagreement. I'd like to ask everyone to hold your applause while I recognize many of our leaders. It's a very long list. I may need some water, so just excuse me if I do. I'll ask them all to stand once I mention everyone so we can show our appreciation. And I must say this before, if I failed to mention anyone, please let us know. We're honored to have you here today. So with us, we have Honorable Eddie Trevino Jr., Cameron County Judge, Honorable Mayor Mendes, City of Brownsville, John Cohen Jr., City of Brownsville City Commissioner at Large A, Rose Gowen, City of Brownsville City Commissioner at Large B, Nurith Galansky, City of Brownsville City Commission, District 1, Jessica Tetru Khalifa, City of Brownsville City Commissioner, District 2, Roy de los Santos, City of Brownsville City Commissioner, District 3, Pedro Cárdenas, City of Brownsville City Commissioner, District 4, Mr. Noel Bernal, City of Brownsville City Manager, Ms. Helen Ramirez, City of Brownsville Deputy City Manager, Ms. Elizabeth Walker, City of Brownsville Assistant City Manager. Representing our great friends of the Brownsville Navigation District are Sergio Lopez, Brownsville Navigation District, Port of Brownsville Chairman, Rob Cohen, Brownsville Navigation District, Port of Brownsville Vice Chairman, Esteban Guerra, Brownsville Navigation District, Port of Brownsville Secretary, John Wood, Brownsville Navigation District, Port of Brownsville Commissioner, Eduardo Campirano, Brownsville Navigation District, Port of Brownsville Director and CEO. From our friends from the Brownsville Police Department, Commander James Pascal and Commander Kirk Massey. From our friends at Brownsville Public Utilities Board, Sandra Lopez Langley, Secretary Treasurer, Ana Io Queen, which is our board member, Mr. Art Rendon, board member, and of course, Mr. John Bruziak, General Manager and CEO. From our great friends at BISD, Mr. Eddie Garcia, BISD President, Dr. Prissy Roca Tipton, BISD Vice President, Denise Garza, BISD Secretary, Daniela Lopez Valdez, BISD Assistant Secretary. From our neighbors and great partners, Texas Southmost College, Mr. Ruben Herrera, Texas Southmost College Chair, Ms. Eva Alejandro, Texas Southmost College Secretary, Adela Garza, Texas Southmost College Trustee, Alejandra Aldrete, Texas Southmost College Trustee, J.G. De Leon Jr., Texas Southmost College Trustee, and Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez, Texas Southmost College President, and a great friend of your chamber from the Workforce Solutions Cameron, Executive Director Pat Hobbs. Please stand to be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. I told you it was a long list. I wasn't joking. But we're very happy to have you here today. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules. We appreciate that. Also, it is my pleasant duty as well to recognize the many past and current president, chairmen, board directors, past chamber president and CEOs, and thank them for their continued support of your chamber. It is because of your extraordinary work, leadership, and excellent service to our community, and most importantly, your commitment in building a strong and prosperous Chamber of Commerce that we're close to celebrating 85 years of service. I ask that all my past, present, and current board of directors for your local chamber and past president CEOs, please stand to be acknowledged. Thank you. Thank you very much. And at this moment, I always joke around how close we get with our officers and board of directors, but it is true. I, as your president and CEO, have a responsibility to carry, and it's to carry the vision and mission of this organization led by the governing board. It is always a great pleasure to work alongside great, knowledgeable, and invested officers. It is an honor for me to introduce to you the man with a vision that carries the responsibility of our organization and board. Chairman of the board for 2021-2022, Mr. Richard Avette. Welcome.
Well, very pleasant afternoon to everyone here. Thank you guys for coming. On behalf of our Chamber Board of Directors, I would like to sincerely acknowledge the efforts of our event sponsors who contributed towards the success of this event and making it this grand. Trust me, all of this wouldn't have been possible without your support. I would also like to extend a note of thank you to the city and chamber staff for putting on this great event. We're excited to hear from Mayor Mendes about the numerous accomplishments in 2021, despite the continued pandemic, as well as the future vision and priorities for moving the community forward in 2022 and beyond. Mayor Mendes is a lawyer and a restaurateur. He was born and raised in Brownsville, Texas, and is a graduate of the University of Texas School of Law. Mayor Mendes was sworn into office as the second youngest mayor in the city's history in July 2019 at the age of 39. Prior to becoming mayor, he served 9 years as a trustee for the Texas Southmost College. In 2020, he was accepted for admission to the Harvard Kennedy School Program for Senior Executives and Leadership. Mayor Mendes is co-owner of Dodici Pizza and Wine in downtown Brownsville. Best pizza in town, by the way. Mayor Mendes has received national attention for his work to address the digital divide in Brownsville, Texas, including being awarded the Changemaker Award by New Century Cities in December of 2020. In May of 2021, the New Deal, Developing Exceptional American Leaders, announced the selection of Mendes as an outstanding rising leader. In September of 2021, Mayor Mendes was one of 37 worldwide mayors selected to participate in the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative and has been invited to participate in the Yale Mayor's College in 2020 and in 2021. Under Mayor Mendes' leadership, Brownsville, Texas has focused on becoming the innovation capital of South Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mayor Trey Mendes.
Most important thing, turn on the mic. Can everybody hear me? All right, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being here. It's really nice to see everyone again after the last 2 years we've just had. October 2019 is the last time we were all together in this same room for my first State of the City address. Times have certainly changed. Not many people in this room probably knew what Zoom was back in 2019, or that it would become such a big part of our lives. The pandemic has taken a toll on all of us in some way, whether physically, emotionally, or through the loss of a friend, relative, or colleague. I think we all learned to evaluate and prioritize and their time to the city of Brownsville. Now let me tell you about what we've been up to since 2019. In 2019, we announced many initiatives that I believed would change Brownsville's trajectory forever. My overarching vision for Brownsville has been to invest in the and more importantly, a city where our brightest young minds want to come back to. Let there be no doubt that the city of Brownsville is on the map, and we've raised our profile on a national level. The state of the city of Brownsville is the strongest it has ever been, but it's been a team effort, and we couldn't have done this without your help and support. Things are looking so good, in fact, that I had to shorten the presentation a bit to make sure you could all get back to work. Now, talking about growth, if anyone asks if we're growing as a city, just look around. On the economic development side, we've attracted several new businesses to Brownsville, including a Tesla service and delivery center, Hobby Lobby, Raw Chocolate, Mercado & Company, Nothing Bundt Cakes, Oh So Good Barbecue, Kuyashi Ramen, Specs, The Human Bean, Black Bear Diner, and Kehlani Poke. Overall, the city of Brownsville saw more than $45 million in new development in 2021. Closing out the year in December 2021 was a groundbreaking of the Tipton Hyundai dealership, which will expand its current 6,000 square foot operation into a brand new 25,000 square foot facility that's expected to open later this year. And it looks like 2021 is picked up right where 2021 left off. Next on the horizon is Avette, which will open its doors in just a couple of months, making it the second location south of San Antonio and one of the largest in the entire country. Now, there's few things that are worse for a city than a vacant building or storefront. Our staff's done a great job focusing their efforts on addressing this issue, and we've been extremely successful filling up vacant properties in our city. Example, over 80,000 square feet at the old Kmart is now occupied by Hobby Lobby. 100,000 square feet at the old Sears already holds a True Fit gym. It's now also going to house a main event and other exciting shops and restaurants. 25,000 square feet at the former Luby's on Boca Chica is now occupied by Specs. 60,000 square feet at the former Target on Boca Chica is now occupied by Maximus. 36,000 square feet at the former Casa Nylon in downtown Brownsville will now be home to the E-Bridge Center for Business and Commercialization. 120,000 square feet of multifamily units are coming to vacant buildings in downtown Brownsville. And SpaceX is now occupying over 100,000 square feet within the city of Brownsville for various operations as well. More on SpaceX later. And, to hear about our growth and development here in the city of Brownsville, we're going to hear from our chairman of GBIC and our city commissioner at large, John Cowan.
City's efforts to increase economic development is to build on our tax base and increase the sales tax in our city so that we can provide better services and more services to the residents. First, I'd like to talk about DHR Health. You know, they're opening a new medical center here on the Expressway. It's going to be providing a host of medical services that typically you have to travel outside of Brownsville for, so it's going to be a big benefit to our local residents, so we're excited about that. The next we have Madera Properties, a master plan community on the north side, 1,300 acres, which is going to be mixed use and create hopefully over $1 billion of taxable value. The whole county is about $7 billion. That's a big percentage increase for all as we move forward. The next one is the redevelopment of Sunrise Mall, which obviously we're moving more from a retail experience at the mall to a lifestyle experience. And bringing in partners like Main Event is a great step forward in the redevelopment and provide a great option for families on the weekend to do something different and have a great experience. Sure, obviously with SpaceX in our area, we're trying to be a hub for innovation in that sector and being innovative and trying to track companies like Space Channel, 9.8 and Space Ventures and build that ecosystem that we're able to leverage and build momentum as SpaceX grows and the city of Brownsville grows. The last one we've had recently is the announcement of Estrella. which is a sustainable development. It's a housing development near the airport. They're going to be pre-manufacturing homes to be installed in hopefully about a week time. So it's completely sustainable, a great option for our residents as we move forward into the next phase of our growth here. Brownsville's open for business. Stay tuned for what's coming. I'm excited to share with you more updates in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Brownsville is definitely open for business. The city of Brownsville's had tremendous growth in residential and commercial construction. In 2022, we've already approved 1,406 new residential lots and 65 new commercial lots. This is going to increase our net land value by over $58 million, and we're only 4 months into the year. Brownsville is currently seeing unprecedented demand in single and multifamily housing given all of our recent growth. On the residential side, we broke ground on the Vida development, a master planned community on approximately 1,300 acres. It was a model partnership between the city, the county, and the owners of the project. This development figures to add several hundred homes and almost $1 billion worth of property value to our tax rolls. Currently, just so you kind of have an idea, currently the city has $8 billion in appraised value, so this Madera project is going to make an immediate and substantial impact in our community. Lots are being pre-sold, so if you're interested, please make sure and check out their website and take a look. Staying on the single-family development topic, we also have roads development aggressively building out over 300 acres of brand new housing and another phase coming. On the multifamily side, I'd like to commend the great work of the Brownsville Housing Authority and Come Dream, Come Build on 2 particular projects. The Sabino building in downtown Brownsville, led by CDCB, will bring 40 units of supportive housing to downtown Brownsville. More importantly, it's going to breathe life into the vacant 5-story building on the corner of 12th and Washington. 12th and Elizabeth. It's a $13 million renovation that CDCB has obtained funding for, and by moving, it's actually going to be moving towards a groundbreaking in 3rd quarter of this year. A very popular question in Brownsville has been, what will become of the Hardine? For nearly 4 decades, it sat vacant in downtown Brownsville. Over the years, many have tried, unsuccessfully, to revive the Hardine. But now, the Brownsville Housing Authority has acquired the property, received $10 million in TDHCA tax credits, and is moving towards bringing mixed-use housing to downtown Brownsville. Now, join me in giving these 2 organizations a round of applause for tackling 2 of the biggest issues in downtown Brownsville. The city of Brownsville grew its sales tax revenue by 17% in 2021 and 20.5% overall since 2019. So far this year, over the first few months, we've already shown a 29% increase from last year. We also currently have the largest fund balance that we've ever seen as a city. I'm proud to say that this fiscal year contains the largest allocation towards capital improvement projects in the city's history. Yes, that means more money for infrastructure, streets, and drainage. Some of the drainage projects include Four Corners Water Plane Park and Detention Pond, the replacement of the Impala Pump, the Los Tomates Regional Detention Pond, and the installation of a 60-inch concrete reinforced pipe that's designed to drain 250 acres in West Brownsville. An additional $9.5 million investment in heavy equipment means that we can actually address more street repairs in-house, cutting down on the time and cost for these improvements. Another exciting project will be the 3rd major hospital in Brownsville, as Doctors Hospital of Renaissance opens its doors and its hospital rooms to our city. Adding more quality health care and specialties was not only a priority, but a necessity, and I'm glad to have them. They'll be adding 300 jobs and over $40 million into our community. With Valley Baptist and Valley Regional already well established, the addition of another hospital will give us one of the premier health systems in South Texas. Thank you, DHR, for your investment. And thank you to Valley Baptist and Valley Regional for your strong presence and support for several decades here in our great city. Some exciting news out of the Port of Brownsville is a recent announcement of $68 million in federal funds for deepening the Brownsville ship channel. This will accommodate larger vessels and enable increased cargo movements. It's going to reduce transit times and improve operational safety. Congratulations to the Port of Brownsville and their board. Now, our community owes a huge debt of gratitude to Congressman Filemon Vela for taking the lead on some of the most challenging projects in our region and bringing home major funding. Let's highlight 3 projects that would not have occurred without the help of Congressman Vela. $40 million in FAA funding towards our spectacular 90,000 square foot airport terminal. The aforementioned $68 million dredging project at the port. And last, the renovation and improvement of Gateway International Bridge. If you ever happen to walk across the bridge, you'll see a cornerstone on a building as you walk out, and it says that the building was built by President Eisenhower. So now, thanks to the American Rescue Plan, $120 million in federal funding was recently allocated to the Gateway Bridge project. This means an entirely new facility will be built with additional capacity for the next 50 years. Thank you, Congressman Vela, and congratulations on your recent retirement. We're all deeply appreciative of your many years of service to our community. I also want to take a moment to thank newly retired State Senator Eddie Lucio Jr. and State Representative Eddie Lucio III for their many accomplishments in the legislature and for their dedication to Brownsville. And on that note, I'd also like to thank our newly elected State Representative Erin Gomez for District 38. She's actually the first female that's going to serve as State Representative for District 38, so congratulations, Erin. Now last, I couldn't talk about growth without talking about SpaceX. Not only have they become our largest private employer, but they recently added a substantial presence within the city for various operations. A recent economic impact study showed that SpaceX invested $430 million on operations, including payroll, construction, and capital improvements in Cameron County alone last year. SpaceX employed more than 1,600 direct employees at Starbase, more importantly, with 71% of those residents of the Rio Grande Valley. This year, they're projecting to add $885 million in gross economic output for Cameron County, as well as continued job growth. Those are definitely some out-of-this-world numbers. Now, for more on SpaceX, let's hear from Commissioner Tetreault.
My name is Jessica Tetreault, and I am the City Commissioner for the City of Brownsville, District 2. This year, the City of Brownsville welcomed SpaceX to the Brownsville Air and Space Campus. This included a 46,000 square foot lease agreement and investment of $500,000 in renovations and upgrades to the facility. This agreement memorializes SpaceX's footprint inside the Brownsville city limits and solidifies the city's economic development work in the aerospace industry. The Brownsville Air and Space Campus is an industrial park slated for the expansion of the air, space, and technology manufacturing industry near the Brownsville-South Padre Island International Airport. The City of Brownsville welcomes new and expanding businesses in the aerospace industry to invest in our community. To have always believed that something very, very special was going to happen to Brownsville, and to have been able to witness it, and to know that future generations are going to be able to have this opportunity to have this incredible future at their fingertips makes me so incredibly happy. So believe in the future and believe in Brownsville, because incredible things are happening here every day.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, who could forget the tweet heard around the world last March from Elon Musk, where he committed to donate $20 million to Cameron County schools and $10 million to the City of Brownsville for downtown revitalization. Thanks to this generous donation, we've already seen some impressive STEM programs at our local schools and numerous improvements and business investments in our downtown. As an example, here's one of our mural projects. That mural was actually painted by a Mexican artist, Sofia Castellanos, and was done with the help and coordination of several local artists here in town, and it was paid for by some of the monies from the Musk Foundation. So recently, the City Commission approved the replacement of our downtown parking meters. These new meters will allow for the use of credit cards, coins, and other smart payments. Through this project, the city is going to be replacing 386 single-space and obsolete parking meters. Funding was made possible through the Parking Meter Fund, and there's going to be 65 new pay stations that are made by Flowbird, and they're going to meet the needs and demands of the 21st century. Still not sure they're going to take nickels, though. I'm sorry. Now, talking about innovation, SpaceX and Elon Musk are a great segue to talk about the innovation that's happening in the city of Brownsville. Within the past month, your city commission approved a rezoning of property on Boca Chica, just miles from Starbase, for a new 24-acre development from Austin-based Estrella. The development, which is known as Habitat Zero, will be the first development of its kind in our community, but also in the United States. Habitat Zero will offer 125 energy-efficient homes, complete with solar panels, Tesla Powerwall chargers, and 30 smart or EV chargers. That's going to be found throughout the community, and its founder, Natalie Renz, has aspirations of one day building homes on Mars. But for now, we're happy to see this project launch in our own backyard. The world's first public space investment portal, Space Ventures, has decided to locate part of their operations here in Brownsville. They've hired several employees, many of them UTRGV graduates, and most importantly, most of them women. Space Ventures allows the public to invest and own shares in actual space-related startups. They have 2 companies on their portal that are live now, and they've also closed their initial round of funding for 2 other companies. That's the Cosmic Shielding Corporation and Infinite Composites. Along with Space Ventures, we also have 9.8 Capital. It's a venture fund that's locating its offices here in Brownsville as well. And 9.8 Capital is the first company created specifically to finance and capitalize space-related commercial ventures. It will manage a group of companies that's meant to get startups off the ground and ready for capital infusions. And overall, their fund's going to be about a $300 million investment fund, so we're definitely looking forward to that. Among the group of companies that will be a hatchery or incubator, which is designed to start and nurture companies from scratch, and it's going to solve specific space travel-related problems. So Space Ventures and 9.8, welcome to Brownsville. And speaking of startups, the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, BCIC, has led the charge to bring many organizations together under one roof to spur small business and harness our entrepreneurial spirit. eBridge is a one-of-a-kind, 36,000 square foot facility that will provide services to our small businesses and young entrepreneurs. This is truly what makes our community special. Through the Startup Texas program, which is developed by BCIC, we've also seen outstanding local business thrive, including Raw Chocolate, Amor y Pan, IQ Juices, and Genzino Designs. Speaking of community, on July 23rd, 2021, B Metro augmented its services by adding Sunday service. This provides additional bus service to meet the mobility needs of our citizens. As a way of giving back to the community, fare-free Sundays were implemented during the holiday season. So far, we've seen a steady increase in ridership for Sunday service, and we're now averaging about 900 riders every Sunday. For more on Sunday service and other happenings, let's hear from our Commissioner, Nurith Golansky.
My name is Nurith Golansky-Pisanya, and I'm the District 1 City Commissioner. I'm here to tell you about some of the projects happening in District 1 benefiting the residents of this area and the city in general. First, if you haven't heard, B Metro is now offering Sunday bus service. For those who rely on public transportation to get in and around the city, this has been of great value to our residents. Since the bus service started, the city has logged 35,000 trips just on Sundays alone. Also, 8 bus shelters have been installed along this corridor, and 30 more are planned to be installed in the next year. As you can see, we're now at the Southmost Library. It is one of my favorite assets in District 1. In fiscal year 21, the city allocated $100,000 to redo the interior of the library. It's received a whole new look, both paint-wise and furniture. The layout is a lot different and a lot friendlier. This all happened during the pandemic when the library was only servicing curbside, so no one really felt it. I have to congratulate the library and all the other city departments for pivoting during the pandemic and consistently servicing their customers. In November of 21, the Southmost Public Library partnered with the Parks Department to bring pages of books, of storybooks, to the Southmost Nature Trail so that children riding their bikes or walking along the trail can read a storybook. Also, Come Dream, Come Build, formerly known as the CDCB, has been focusing their efforts on creating new and stylish, affordable housing options in District 1. In the past year or so, they bought historical homes along Jackson and 16th Street. They were able to save them, preserve them, and renovate them, and they are now being rented out to people who qualify. They also have other projects in the works to provide affordable housing options in the area. As you can see, I'm very proud to represent District 1. I dream along with you to see what happens because everything is possible. The future looks bright.
Future indeed looks bright. Thank you, Commissioner Galansky. After years of negotiations, construction of the West Rail Trail is now underway and set to be completed by early 2023. This transformational project will provide yet another amenity and connect West Brownsville to the rest of our award-winning trails network. Once completed, this is going to be a crown jewel for Brownsville. This year, the city also began implementing the Strategic Automation Plan. This plan is a series of technological investments to support city initiatives. Through the Strategic Automation Plan, the city invested in Excella Solutions, a digital permitting platform which enables online access for citizens and customers. So what does that mean? That means our permitting process is finally digital. So thank you very much for that. This past year, the Brownsville Police Department also invested in a new CAD RMS software. That's an essential software safety program. We were also named one of the top 20 safest cities in the country this year. In November of 2021, Brownsville was one of 8 communities nationwide awarded a Choice Neighborhood Planning Grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, for the International Southmost Neighborhood. Through this grant, the City of Brownsville, in partnership with the Housing Authority of the City of Brownsville, will work with local residents and a variety of community stakeholders to create a forward-looking choice neighborhood initiative focused on people, housing, and community. The Cantering Public Market will be a $4 million addition to the Mini Cultural District, funded by a variety of partners, including the Legacy Foundation, the Musk Foundation, No Kid Hungry, and the Economic Development Agency. Just a few weeks ago, we hosted an amazing groundbreaking, and this building will be a one-of-a-kind building for the entire Rio Grande Valley. It'll be the new home of the farmers market, a kitchen incubator, and the food bank of the RGV. More on the cannery and other projects. Let's hear from Dr. Rosegowan.
So the story of the Cannery Public Market, to really understand it, you have to go back to 2008, more or less. And that is the year that we opened the Brownsville Farmers Market. We chose Linear Park because it was accessible and it was comfortable for everyone. It was right next to the zoo and it was along a trail so people could walk or ride their bike to visit the market. And it was a hit. Fast forward years of success of the farmers market, and in about 2012, the Quonset hut became for sale. And the city snapped it up because it was affordable, but also because we had the vision of a permanent home for the Brownsville Farmers Market and continuing to activate Linear Park. Placemaking sounds kind of like a toy, but in reality, it's creating places within your community where people want to be. They're fun, they're vibrant, and it is a place that has character. So you can visit the Cannery Market, you will be able to visit the Cannery Market, not just in your car, but on your bicycle or with your sneakers walking or jogging. And it's not just a place to go in Brownsville, it's a destination. Good projects take time. You need to gather the partners, you need to find the funding, you need to include the public, and so forth and so on. And to do all of that, you need a really great mission and a clear direction. And so it will be particularly wonderful for me to see this project open at the end of my stay as an elected official, and I will have seen it from start to finish. So I will have the biggest smile on my face when I arrive on my bicycle to buy my vegetables, and I will walk down the aisle and check out the test kitchens and say hey to Tia Maria when I taste her salsa that she makes so specially there, and enjoy my day. There's no better project than one that creates vibrancy and partnership between the people, private investment, as well as the city.
None of these projects that you heard about, the cannery, the farmer's market, West Rail Trail, would have happened without the leadership of Dr. Gowan. So Dr. Gowan, thank you so much for everything. The Buena Vida Cultural Park on 7th Street is also nearing completion. This is a multi-million-dollar investment from the Midi Foundation, and they continue to lead the charge with other projects in the Midi Cultural District. Thank you to the Midi Foundation and the Midi family for their investment, but even more so for their strong commitment and belief that Brownsville can be a better place. This last year, we also saw the expansion of the Children's Museum of Brownsville into the Ringgold Civic Pavilion. This expansion includes an additional 15,000 square feet for the museum. Now the museum is able to welcome more visitors and create more learning opportunities for our children and their families. More on the Midi Cultural District and other happenings, Commissioner De Los Santos.
So the Buena Vida Arts and Cultural Park is a corridor between 6th and 7th Street from Ringgold to the Expressway. And this was known for many years because it had the Quonset hut, Jackson Feed and Seed, a big warehouse that they sold used appliances out of. And there wasn't a lot going on as far as arts and culture in the area, but it was ripe for development because it was the gateway to the Midi Cultural District. RJ wanted to do something to honor his grandparents. And so this being the gateway and right behind the Midi Arch, he decided this would be the perfect place to create a park for the public. In looking at the area, he realized that the poor area of the community, which was the Buena Vida neighborhood, felt disconnected from much of what was going on as far as art and culture, the museums and the parks, and he wanted to bridge that gap. He wanted to create something that would make the public feel welcome and invited, and that's why it's being named the Buena Vida Arts and Cultural Park. It'll consist of art, water features, several trails, covered areas for vendors and artisans, a stage for performances, a meadow for performances, and eventually we're hoping the big warehouse will become an extension of the Children's Museum focused on our science and math. For Brownsville as a whole, it is a destination, not just for tourists, but for our locals as well. It's many of the entities that you already patronized for many, many years, from the Children's Museum to the parks to Gladys Porter Zoo. But now there's so much happening in downtown Brownsville with the restaurants, with Market Square being revitalized and being brought up by the Brownsville Historical Association. There are so many more events than used to be happening in Brownsville. Before the Midi Cultural District expansion, that's where the Buena Vida Arts and Cultural Park idea started. Since the expansion, there is now a greater focus on the heart of downtown. And so as we could wrap up the Buena Vida Arts and Cultural Park, the Midi Foundation is already looking more into the heart of downtown for our next big project. And we're looking for something that will absolutely be a draw for the local community, a plus for those who live downtown, and hopefully create new revenue streams for the Midi Cultural District as well. Ultimately, our goal is that we leave something behind at no cost to the taxpayers, which is not just a great attraction, but is also generating revenues to be self-sustaining so that it can continue to be successful for years to come. Ultimately, that needs to be our goal, is creating more sales tax revenue through tourism and through local consumption so that we reduce our dependency on property taxes. And the Midi Cultural District is one of the key ways to do that.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you to the Midi family. It was great to see our Charo Day celebrations return this year with our very own hometown Mr. Amigo, Ms. Bianca Marroquin. It was a week's worth of fun and what felt like the official return to normal for the city. Thank you, Bianca, for coming back home and for representing us so well on the world's biggest stage, Broadway. Char Days also saw the Speedo Papa turn into a global phenomenon as Elon Musk made an appearance on the last day of Sombrero Festival. Education of your future generations is critical to the future of our community. UTRGV and TSC continue to excel and invest in the development of our future leaders and future workforce. UTRGV, one of the largest Hispanic-serving universities in the country, is currently undertaking a 15,000 square foot expansion of the Buena building. Further investment is also occurring in the South Texas Diabetes and Obesity Institute, with the most sophisticated research building in the Rio Grande Valley. The Center for Human Genetics in Vivarium is being funded by the Permanent University Fund and Valley Baptist, the Valley Baptist Legacy Foundation, with a total investment of $15.8 million. We're excited to see this building come online in the fall of this year. Texas Southmost College is also thriving with new degree offerings, 40% lower tuition, and a property tax reduction of 4.7%. They're the fastest growing community college in the state and have invested over $25 million into classrooms, labs, and technology to become the premier workforce training center in Cameron County. As a former trustee and a product of UTB TSC, it makes me very proud to see both UTRGV and TSC expanding, working together, and investing to provide the best possible resources for our students. So thank you to both institutions. Now, all the projects I've mentioned so far will have an impact in Brownsville's trajectory. But this next project is the one I believe will impact our city for generations to come. Back when I was elected almost 3 years ago, Brownsville had just been named one of the least connected cities in the United States for 2 years in a row. I set out to cross our name off that list. And I'm happy to say that just a few weeks ago, our city commission voted to commit almost $20 million in ARPA funding to fund the middle mile broadband infrastructure network. But that's not all. The city will also partner with Lit Communities and HMI, who have brought $50 million in private funding to the table for the construction of the last mile network. This means that every home in Brownsville will have affordable and accessible connectivity to the internet. Gone are the days where teachers cannot upload their lesson plans. Gone are the days that our children have to go to McDonald's, sit in library parking lots with their parents, or knock on their neighbors' doors to access the internet. A reliable and affordable broadband network will bring increased economic development to our city, improve telehealth offerings, and eliminate the digital divide in our community. This partnership will serve as a model for other communities around the country, and it's happening right here. So please, a big round of applause for that. This investment doesn't just stop here. It doesn't stop at fiber. Given this major initiatives, Brownsville PUB has also approved an additional $20 million plus investment in upgrading our utility system for smart metering. This will replace meters in Brownsville with smart meters, allowing PUB to have a greater understanding of its system, operational efficiencies, and a higher level of service to its customers. This is an exciting project made possible by a unified commitment to bridge the digital divide. In closing, the state of our city is strong, and our vision is aligned. But we must continue to work as one to accomplish the vision we all have for Brownsville. To learn a little bit more about the projects we've been talking about today, please visit btxfuture.com. Thank you to all the sponsors, and thank you for being here. I'm excited to see what the future holds and what Brownsville looks like a year from now. We're strong and we're resilient. We are Brownsville, on the border, by the sea, and beyond. Thank you. I'm good.
What a closing. on the border, by the sea, and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, help me thank our proud and fierce Mayor of the great city of Brownsville, Texas, Mayor Trey Mendes. At this moment, we have Hania and Astrid from our chamber team. They will be acknowledging and addressing any questions. They do have a wireless mic available for all those that have a question. I ask that you please respectfully address our mayor and please state your name and company name.
Thought we covered everything. Any questions? Don't be shy.
If you can just please raise your hand. Thank you.
I know, Dr. Joe, he asks hard questions.
Well, Doc, Mayor, you know, I always have a question or two. My question is somewhat concerning for me. What is the city doing to help with the environmental studies that seems like it's delaying SpaceX?
That's a good question. The city and the county both certainly support a lot of the operations that are happening at Starbase. And we did send in a letter of support to the FAA. But again, that's a federal agency. It's something that really, truly is not our decision to make, beyond our control. But certainly we're waiting just as anxiously as everyone else. You heard the economic impact. We know what it means to our community. County's doing its part. The city's doing its part. So now, just like everybody else, it's time to wait. But we're hopeful, and I know that everybody out of Starbase, Elon and his team out there are waiting as well. So I mean, it's a big decision. It means a lot for the future of our community, and I think we've done our part, and this county certainly has done its part. So we're just waiting. Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm a little blind. I don't have my glasses. I forgot. So the same as I forgot my phone. But anyone, if you have a question, if you can please raise your hand. We would love to. Well, not me. I'm not answering on behalf of the mayor, but the mayor, I'm sure, will be very happy to answer.
It's a hard question. Esme can answer it.
Yes. No. We have Astrid on the other end, and we have Hani on this end. Please raise your hand, and we'll acknowledge your question.
I have a question. How's the food? Is it good? All right, I'll get to try it here in a bit.
We do have coffee and great dessert, please. So don't be shy in asking for coffee. But I don't see any other questions or anyone with questions at this moment. I think everyone's still eating and enjoying the food, of course. We have a question on this side. We have two questions. Oh, no, one question. Not everyone all at once. Perfect.
Oh, no. Everybody, this is my mom, so I've had
I want to know what is being done to the old HEB and Majestic Theater. What are your plans?
Great question. Mom. It's actually a great question, and we got some things in the works. Stay tuned for the next State of the City next year. Okay, so HEB. HEB is, my understanding, it's actually under contract. It's under contract with a private individual. I think they're still going through that contract to see whether or not that individual is going to move forward with the project. On the Majestic, we have Commissioner De Los Santos from the Midi Foundation here in the front row, and I'm happy to say that the Majestic Theater, thank you, Mom, for the prompt. Forgot that in the presentation. But the Majestic Theater is actually now under contract with the Midi Foundation, who intends to renovate it, bring it back online, and make it another crown jewel for our downtown. It's going to be great. So hopefully we'll hear about that next year.
So I think, with all your due respect, Mayor, but your mom stole the spotlight.
That's usually the case.
And we all know that behind every successful man or woman, there's an outstanding, fierce, lovely mother. So let's give her a round of applause.
If the Majestic opens, though, the tickets aren't going to be 50 cents like it was when you go there. I'm the way I am because of her, so believe me, she loves that. All right.
Do we have any other questions? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the opportunity to address your mayor. Back there, if we can have a microphone, Astrid, thank you.
Hello, Mayor. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you.
You mentioned something about the Elon Musk Foundation. So I don't know, I'm not very familiar with it, and maybe there's other people here that are kind of curious. How is it that the community can tap into those funds, or how is the city allocating or able to allocate those funds?
Good question. The Elon Musk, or the Musk Foundation, committed $10 million to downtown revitalization. So certainly if you have any ideas or you have anything that you think can contribute to downtown within that core area, get in touch with the city. I would suggest you get in touch with our city manager, Noel Bernal, our deputy city manager, Helen Ramirez. They're leading the conversations with the Musk Foundation and developing that. But if you have any ideas, certainly they're welcome. I'm really proud of that mural project we saw. It was a collaboration of several local artists, Mexican artists, and hopefully there's going to be some more murals coming. I think we're kind of sorting through that, but overall, there's money there. If you have any ideas, they're really focused on arts, culture, making downtown more of a destination, bringing people to our downtown. They love music, art, culture, anything you think will contribute. Vacancy, maybe ideas for buildings, anything like that. Certainly bring that to the table and let Noel or Helen know. And just so you know, I mean, Elon actually told me himself that he's willing to put more money in. We just got to spend it. So come on, guys, get working.
We have one more question from our great friend, Vida Ayala.
Test, mic test, thank you. Vida Ayala. I grew up downtown. So would you please describe what the city considers downtown to the citizens of Brownsville?
Sure. Well, I'm not sure there's an actual geographic being, whether there's anything there that, like when we're talking about downtown revitalization, if you ask me, I mean, it's not my decision to make, but I think downtown really kind of starts with the entry into 6th Street. We see the Midi Cultural District into almost as you're getting towards Amigoland Mall. I mean, old Amigoland Mall, certainly between that corridor, I'd say between Palm, International, and then between the Expressway and Amigoland Mall, that whole area, I believe, would be what would be considered downtown. So kind of in that range, certainly. Certainly our core is Market Square and the several blocks around it, but if you're talking downtown, the district itself really kind of starts in that area. They want to hear a grito, Bean, but I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
That's a tough one.
It's always a fiesta when Bean's here, we know that.
One more question. Yes, sorry, Sandra.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question regarding the Camille Playhouse located in the Midi District. Why wasn't anything mentioned about them? I know they are in need of a lot of things there. They do run good summer programs, and throughout the year they do have musical and events.
Sure.
What is happening with them?
What is happening with them? I'm not sure. I think you'd probably have to ask them what's happening with them, but I really tried to consolidate the presentation down a certain amount of time, but Camille's still putting on programming. I know that they've received some funds at our last commission meeting, or they were going to. So they're the recipients of some of our hot funds, some of the funds back from the city. I think they're doing a great job. They're looking to continue to improve their facilities. I believe there was a project here recently through Leadership Brownsville that was going to make some improvements to the Camille as well. So if you ask me, Camille's doing a great job, and they continue to do so.
One last question, Denise. We have someone heading that way. Hania, thank you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for hosting this. Question, the other day I was driving, it was about 94 degrees, and you talked about the city buses being expanded on Sundays. Is there a completion date for bus stops? I saw 2 elderly women with 8 Walmart carts, one of them pushed over so they could sit and never sit in the hot sun. It's just kind of disheartening. So is there a completion date that you have set to complete bus stops for the entire city?
Sure.
I know you've been working on them.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was in Commissioner Golansky's video or not, but I know that District 1 just got 8 new bus shelters, bus stops. Those are actually already done in District 1. Those are 8. And then we've got 30 more that are going to be coming. We have that plan for that. A few months ago at our city commission, we approved a design and more or less of a cost. So we have plans to bring on 30 more bus shelters and 30 more bus facilities to the city. Sunday service has been a huge success, so certainly we need to look at the routes, look at increasing maybe that ridership as well. But certainly, I mean, bus shelters, bus stops has always been an issue, especially with our conditions here, but we're working on it. We're allocating a couple $1 million towards that. It just unfortunately sometimes through the planning process, you have to allocate the funding, you have to look at the design, you have to approve the design, and then you build it out. There's procurement, there's a lot of things. If it was up to me, I'd have them all covered and all, the same design, but it takes a little bit of time. But yeah, we've done 8 this past year, and we're gonna do another 30 more here pretty soon. Thanks for the question.
I believe I don't see any more. One more question. Yes. Astrid. Thank you, Astrid. And that will be our final question as we get close to adjourning our event for today. Thank you.
It was amazing. And one of the things that I've been always asking in Brownsville, when are we going to have a port for cruises?
I didn't hear you, I'm so sorry.
Cruises. We want cruises in port.
When are we gonna have cruises in Brownsville? I don't know. Disney. Disney cruises? Oh. You're already a princess, Commissioner. Okay, so cruises, is that the question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear, are you asking about cruises? Oh gosh, that's not a question really for me. I think that's a better question either for South Padre, maybe the port. We've heard different things for so long about that. I'm not able to answer that one. We don't have plans within the city. The city of Brownsville itself, I don't think has any area where we can actually do cruises from the city, but if we could, I'm sure we'd look into it, but I think that's probably a better question for another city.
He did not say no, though. So,
I think we can bus people to the cruise line whenever it shows up.
just to clarify, Mayor, once again, we are grateful for your participation. What an outstanding presentation. Thank you for allowing us to learn and be updated and take full ownership of what happens and what's the future of our community. It is you, the voter, that gets to elect these wonderful leaders, and you have the right, of course, to participate and ask. So we thank you for your questions today, and we thank you, sir, for your time and the ability to answer these questions with no promises with cruises yet. But who knows? Brownsville is the most fastest growing city in this region, and there is no stopping us, so we don't know what the future holds. So ladies and gentlemen, let's thank Mayor Trey Mendes. Thank you.
Thank you once again for being here, and who's excited for Brownsville? All right, thank you.
And before we adjourn, there is a couple remarks, because this could not happen without the great help of all those that woke up very early today and very late working last night. So I'll be very brief with my remarks. Before we actually opened the actual Air One, we invite you to network with our leaders, with our mayor. We have outstanding performance by soloist Jan, who will be enjoying and making things happier in Brownsville as well during the next moments. And we have great food today by Lola's Bistro. Thank you, Sandra Quesada. We appreciate you. So, yes. I would like to acknowledge our volunteers today from our Bienvenidos Committee and all those ambassadors of the Chamber: Orlando Gutierrez, Luis Quintanilla, Gabriel Garcia, Elizabeth Scholl, Olga Morales, Susie Nabo, Joyce Vasquez, Jerry Briones, Mariana Tomlinson, Lorena Castro, Ruth Flores, Jennifer Vasquez, and of course our board member and true cheerleader, Jacqueline Munguia. Thank you for volunteering today. And I cannot emphasize the importance of collaboration, removing barriers, and getting to know each other. We learned and we worked very great together. Thank you to the City of Brownsville Communications and Marketing Department, Monica Tellum, Interim Director of Communications and Marketing, Adalberto Guzman, Creative Service Manager, Rolando Olvera, Digital Graphic Designer, Alexa J. Perez, Branding and Social Media Coordinator, and Mali Montesam, Tourism Coordinator, and they're right here. Thank you very much for all your work. And also Debbie Rodriguez and Ezequiel Huerta. I forgot to turn the page. Thank you very much. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, it's our honor and great privilege to serve you. And this cannot happen alone. We have a small, fierce, full team at your Brownsville Chamber of Commerce, which will be growing very soon. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, my honor to serve every day my team: Danielle Rodriguez, Director of Marketing and Programs; Astrid Rosales, Membership and Revenue Growth Specialist; Hania Rovello, Information Administrative Support Specialist on this side. Ladies, thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate you. And my last remark for the day before we opened that air wall and we continue to enjoy our company. There's great dessert and coffee. Thank you, Mayor. He's somewhere back behind. Yes, we do. We want to thank you and humbly thank you, because it takes a great vision, it takes a great leader, and it takes ownership of your community, and we see that every single day with your work. To our elected officials, to our commissioners, to City Manager Noel Bernal, to everyone who's here today, thank you for allowing us to continue to serve you and collaborate in making this the best event yet for your local Chamber of Commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our
This has been a special presentation, the State of the City Address, presented by the City of Brownsville on Somos El Valle, Channel 5.3, Cable 1241.
We now join our regularly scheduled program in progress.